Next. Now what this shows, social trends. 61% of African Americans believe the values of middle-class blacks versus poor blacks have become more different. Fully 1/3 feel the race cannot be viewed as a single race because of differences in values. This is our target. Lower, middle, and middle-class African Americans. We're not going for the underclass. We're not going for those who are below the poverty line. They're not going to vote against their checks. And they're not that politically active. What you want to do is you want to go after the educated, middle-class, upwardly mobile, African American, and Latino. That's what you want to go after. They see themselves. They don't see themselves as a single race, but unlike any other demographic, they vote monolithically. If we can get our share of the African American vote to where it is with the Hispanic vote, we'll be just fine. To give you some hope, in 1956. 60% of the black vote went to Dwight Eisenhower. In 1960, even after the debacle of Richard Nixon, when Dr. King was in jail and he refused to intervene, and Daddy King repealed his endorsement, removed his endorsement of the Nixon campaign, and Jackie Robinson left the campaign, Richard Nixon still got 30% of the black vote. And has been going down ever since to what you see this year, 2%. So our heroes didn't help. Nixon didn't help with the Southern strategy. President Reagan, we revere him, but the truth of the matter is he was not good for racial relations in the country. His policies on South Africa, I remember this, his policies on South Africa did not help. You have to remember him, Mies, Reagan, those guys helped to prop up the apartheid government in South Africa. And blacks remember that. It didn't help the situation. But we can go get these folks. Next. Some of the issues that we can go get: jobs, unwed motherhood, immigration, crime, dropout rates, quality of schools. These are our issues that we have conservative solutions for. These are the issues that we're going to be able to persuade them to come over. We open the door gets opened on social issues, we close the door, we close the deal with economic issues. Next. Okay, hit it again, Jason. All right, now, why are we here? Because of this organization. How is the organization built? It is built as a triad. First, messaging. 2, grassroots organizing and community interaction. 3, political action. It's a triad. It's kind of like how you conduct a war. The messaging is like the air war. You bombard them over and over again. You soften up the terrain, soften up the enemy. But the Air Force can't hold ground. You got to have boots on the ground. You got to have the Marines. You got to have the Army in order to go in and take ground and hold territory. And then once you bomb them into smithereens, and the ground troops go in and take the territory and hold the territory, then you're able to put into power who you want to put into power. And that's the political action. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Messaging, next.
Phone's ringing.
Pick it up, y'all. Answer the phone. Messaging. All right. How many folks are on Facebook? Okay, every time I ask that question, that number is getting better and better. How many folks are on Twitter? Actually, that number is getting better. Okay. How many folks have a television? Radio. See a billboard. Get a newspaper. Get a bunch of direct mail from politicians. Too much, especially coming towards an election.
Amen.
Yeah, okay. Well, what's the point? The point is we're going to have to focus on old media for our air war, for our messaging. Old media. Because although here in this room we have a greater sampling, a greater representation of folks who are on Facebook and Twitter, nationally you don't have the saturation yet as you do with old media. Facebook doesn't cost any money. Twitter doesn't cost any money. Have a website is only a few dollars a month to maintain it. But you're not going to get the reach that you want initially. To get the saturation of the people that you want to specifically target, you're going to have to use old media. And the drawback to that is what? Cost. Money. It's going to take financial support in order to get that kind of work done, to message folks. All right? But that's what has to be done. Yes, use Web 2.0, the social networking, but if you're going to reach people en masse, the money is going to have to be raised, the money is going to have to be spent, the media buys are going to have to be made. Next. You guys heard about our billboard campaign?
Yes.
Down in Houston? proud to announce that today I'll be sending out an e-blast revealing to the rest of the raging elephants across the nation that our next billboard has been erected in Orangeburg, South Carolina, in the heart of James Clyburn District. It is up. And, look at the psychological warfare. This is on the South Loop in Houston, next to Reliance Stadium. That's the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard exit. And as the cars are coming down the exit, this is what it's meant to, this is what greets them. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Republican. And Gary was telling the story about the kid that... I'm going to tell it again in a minute. Oh, I'll say it. All right. Next. Okay, a couple of radio ads. Let's see if I can play this one on... Yeah, do the hate crimes one.
I'm Apostle Claver chairman of RagingElephants.org. When will the attacks on the church and your values as a Christian stop? The new hate crimes bill has now passed through Congress.
And for the record, I support the rights of gay people.
Ministers could be charged for preaching out of the Bible against sexual immorality and same-sex marriage. When will the Democratic Party stop leading the advance of the gay lobby? When will the Democratic Party stop attacking the biblical family values that you hold so dear? It's now clear, more than ever, that the Democratic Party and the Congressional Black Caucus do not share your Christian values. They refuse to uphold biblical principles, but instead attack them. Is this the truth? Listen to what Democratic Congressman and member of the CBC, Al Green, believes.
And for the record, I support the rights of gay people.
It's time for a new exodus. It's time for Bible-believing defenders of Christianity to leave the Democratic Party. Leading America's second emancipation, log on to RagingElephants.org.
Okay, now, messaging. Remember these church-going people. Now, these ads are placed on Christian radio, black radio, and they're doing what? They're targeting that demographic of African-American Christians. You have a party that you're voting for, that you're chained to, that's literally voting against your values, attacking the church and your Judeo-Christian ethics. And here's a voice of one of them. What are we doing? We are illuminating the disconnect between the leftist, socialist, anti-Christian elected officials and their conservative values as a constituency. We try to help them connect the dots and drive a wedge in between. On the abortion issue, go to the Obama abortion ad, Jason. Let's hear this one.
Since 1973, 17 million African-American children have been the victims of abortion in America.
I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield.
1,800 African-American children are aborted every day in our country.
I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield.
Planned Parenthood accepts private donations for the specific purpose of aborting black babies.
I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield.
In 2008, Planned Parenthood endorsed 33 members of the Congressional Black Caucus, including Sheila Jackson Lee and Al Green.
I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield.
President Obama, Congressional Black Caucus, and Democrats, Black Texans please stop the genocide of our African-American children.
So you know where I stand.
For information on how you can be a part of Black America's second emancipation, log on to RagingElephants.org.
See, and that ad can be a candidate for any congressional district. That ad can say Emmanuel Claver.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or any other place, Jason. All right, our TV ad, you guys are seeing it first up here. We haven't even revealed it nationally yet, okay? Click on the screen, Jason. The relationship between government and you is simple. It's a zero-sum game. The more money government has, the less money you have. The more power government has, the less freedom you have. Government should have less money and less power. It makes it easier for all of us to prosper. Lawmakers, stop making laws telling us what to do. Start making laws telling government what it can't do. If you agree with me, you're a conservative. Now vote that way.